Today in the UK Parliament, things got pretty intense during the second hearing of a new public order bill. What started as a standard procedure quickly turned into a deep and sometimes fiery debate. The core of the discussion? A very modern British question: how do we balance freedom of speech, the rights of local communities to mediate their own issues, and the single overarching law of the land? It's a puzzle that touches on everything from free expression to cultural traditions, and lawmakers had a lot to say. Right out of the gate, one member of Parliament made a passionate case for absolute freedom of expression. He argued that no idea, no belief system, and no viewpoint should be shielded from criticism or healthy debate. He put forward an amendment specifically designed to protect this right, making it clear that as long as you're within the law, you should be able to say what you think. It's a classic defense of open dialogue. But almost immediately, another representative stood up to offer a counterpoint. While she agreed that open dialogue is crucial, she stressed the importance of protecting vulnerable communities from hate speech and harmful rhetoric. Her point was that freedom can't be a free-for-all. It has to come with a responsibility to our neighbors. It's this fundamental tension between speaking freely and protecting people that really defined the entire session. This isn't just a political debate. It's a conversation happening in communities all over the country. Then, the conversation took a very specific turn, zeroing in on faith-based and cultural arbitration panels. These are informal councils, often based within specific religious or ethnic communities, that help resolve disputes outside the official court system. Think of them as a form of community mediation. Several MPs raised some pointed questions. They wondered if the decisions made in these informal settings always line up with UK equality laws, especially concerning women's rights and other protected characteristics. Are these panels, which operate voluntarily, truly upholding the legal standards that apply to everyone else in the UK? It was a sensitive but necessary question. The chamber fell quiet as everyone waited for the government's response. It's a complex issue because, on one hand, these councils can offer culturally sensitive and accessible resolutions. On the other, there's a real concern they could operate in a legal gray area, potentially undermining the principle of one law for all. In response to these concerns, the Justice Secretary stepped up to the dispatch box to clarify the government's official position, and his message was crystal clear. He stated unequivocally that these community councils have absolutely no official legal authority. They cannot make legally binding rulings that override the UK courts. British law, he emphasized, is the supreme law of the land and applies equally to every single person, regardless of their background or beliefs. He explained that while people are perfectly free to seek guidance from community leaders or religious advisors on a voluntary basis, any advice or mediation they receive must still respect and align with British legal standards. So, if a community panel's guidance contradicts UK equality law, it has no legal standing. This statement was designed to reassure both those who value these community systems and those who fear they could create a parallel legal structure. It was a firm reminder of where the ultimate authority lies. Following the Justice Secretary's clarification, the mood in the chamber shifted again. Several speakers from different parties called for a more thorough, nationwide examination of how these community mediation systems actually work on the ground. They argued that it's not enough to just state the law. There needs to be a better understanding of what's happening in practice. Are people feeling pressured to use these panels? Are the outcomes always fair? These MPs weren't necessarily calling for them to be shut down, but for more transparency and research. However, other members urged caution. They warned that any such examination must be handled with great care and respect. It's vital, they argued, to avoid demonizing entire communities or disrespecting cultural traditions that many people hold dear. The key, they suggested, is to find a balanced one that upholds universal human rights and the rule of law while still valuing the cultural diversity that is a hallmark of modern Britain. It's a tightrope walk, and the debate showed just how carefully Parliament is trying to navigate it. And of course, the discussion wasn't just confined to the walls of Parliament. Outside, in the press and on social media, the public conversation took off. The debate quickly split into several camps. Some people strongly supported stricter government oversight of all community mediation, believing it's the only way to guarantee fairness and protect individual rights. Others pushed back, arguing that this would be an overreach and would undermine the freedom of communities to manage their own affairs. They highlighted the positive role that these panels can play in resolving conflicts quickly and amicably. Yet, amidst all the differing opinions, there was one point of universal agreement that echoed from every side of the argument. In the United Kingdom, there is one law for all citizens. This principle was the bedrock that everyone, from the most traditionalist voices to the most progressive, stood upon. It's the foundation that holds the entire complex structure together. So, what can we take away from this intense parliamentary session? It was a fascinating snapshot of a nation grappling with its own identity. This wasn't just about a single bill. It was a reflection of how Britain is constantly working to balance its ancient traditions with modern values of equality, and how it protects cherished freedoms like expression while ensuring that protection extends to everyone. The debate over community mediation, free speech, and the rule of law is far from over. It's a conversation that will continue in Parliament, in town halls, and at dinner tables across the country. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Where do you stand on all this? Do you believe in stricter oversight, or do you think the freedom of communities is more important? Let us know which part of the debate you found most compelling in the comments below. And if you appreciate these calm, fact-based explainers on UK society and law, please consider subscribing to Hidden Isles for more content just like this.